I was asked originally to come speak to you guys by Rob Zebel, who's had thought that I might have something to add to the debate of the growth of Castroville and the growth, really, of San Antonio moving west and rapidly approaching your city limits, etc. So what I want to do is give you a little bit more about my background, give you a quick little history lesson on current development practices and how they've kind of developed over the past 50, 60 years, and then what some of the new emerging trends are, or ways that you can, I guess, better ways of developing that are now becoming more prevalent around the country and even in San Antonio, and it sounds like maybe even outside of Castroville here pretty soon. I started in real estate in '85. I graduated from A&M, got in May of '85, right when the market tanked, and it stayed tanked for about 5 years. I did primarily industrial and office brokerage for about 17 years, and then in 1999 I started doing some rehab and urban infill projects in the King William Historic District just south of downtown San Antonio, and I've been doing that ever since. I've also been real involved in the King William Historic District. I lived down there since '83. My family moved me down there, and I stayed down there the entire time, and I now office down there. I was president of the King William Historic District, the neighborhood association, so I've also had some experience in dealing with some of the things that historic districts deal with, which is encroachment, loss of housing stock, rezoning battles, all that kind of stuff. So I've kind of been on both sides of the fence, both as a commercial developer and then on the other side trying to protect certain assets from commercial development that's not sensitive to what's going on in the community. So that's my background. You know, the thing that always comes up, and it's a real big topic right now, is sprawl. And so to kind of give you an idea of, or describe what sprawl is and how sprawl originated, you go back to about the 1950s when we went from, when we really had the start of the whole automobile culture in the suburbanization of the United States and people moving outside the inner city and further away from their jobs because people were now more mobile. That brought on the whole need for zoning and traffic regulations that are designed to control the massive amounts of traffic. That's when you started to get housing set in the back of a development, maybe some multifamily in between, and then some retail and big box projects, that kind of thing, up on the highway. As more and more of that occurred, you needed more and more traffic and roadways and et cetera to try and handle that. So as that happened, it all just kind of starts to snowball, and that's where we've been for the past 50 years, 60 years really. You know, we're at the point now, it's kind of a cliche that if you want a cup of coffee, you don't walk down to the corner store. You get in your suburb, you drive out the front gate, which may take you 5 minutes, get on the access road, do a loop turn on the highway, and go down 2 exits, and you get off at a Starbucks. And that's the way 90% of the people live who are outside in San Antonio. Anybody outside the Loop 410 or some of the 1950s or 60s subdivisions, that's the way you live. Going through now in San Antonio 281 and 1604 can literally take you 15 to 20 minutes depending on what time of day it is. So it's getting to the point now where people are starting to wake up around the U.S. and where they're in those kind of critical situations where it really starts to get to where people are starting to have a problem with it, that people all of a sudden wake up and start complaining about sprawl, even though they may be part of what's causing it. They don't know why. They move out to hill country for the hills and the greenery and everything, and then 1,000 other people decide to do the same thing, and before you know it, they're in the middle of sprawl. So that's where we've been, and that's where we are now.